Lights, camera, fashion. It's the Mezza Live with lifestyle expert Jackie Grund. After a successful stint as a blogger and several run-ins with celebrities, Jackie felt the need to offer encouragement and support to help people living in their middle, or as she calls it, Mezza of their lives. With the Mezza Live, now she comes full force, blazing the way for women everywhere who wants to add a little bit of sparkle and a whole lot of spice to their everyday life. Tune in every other Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on uimediaapp.com, WDJY 99.1 FM in Atlanta, WTTA 101.2 FM in Kentucky and Ohio, Facebook Live, Spreaker, and almost all your favorite podcasting platforms. Have something you'd like to say? Maybe a question or even a simple hello? Then give us a call at 678-495-4345 and Jackie will answer you live. It's time to feel sexy in your 60s and reinvent yourself with reviews you can use. And here's Jackie.
This show is sponsored by Action Specialty Carts, Metro Atlanta's #1 dealer for golf cart sales, service, and rentals. Visit ascarts.com to learn more.
Hello, all. Welcome back to Mezza Live. I'm so glad you came back and you're tuning in with me. I'm your host, Jackie Grund. So it's time again to grab your latte, cup of coffee, tea, or wine, and hang with us for the next 30 minutes for some really good girl talk. So what is the Mezza? Well, it means the middle. And if you're tuning in, I think you're there too. I'm in the middle of my life. I'm a wife, mom of 2 adult children, and recently a grandmother. But I wanted to say a special happy birthday to my son, Brett, who is 32 today. I can't believe it. 32 years ago, I was in labor, and today I'm hosting Mezza Live. Wow, that's a big difference. But anyway, I love you and have a great day. So if you're in the middle, tune in. If you are empty nesting or a single career woman who just finished 30 years in the corporate world, come join us today. My hope with Mezza Live is that you pick up a new idea, a trend, or maybe some inspiration, especially today with our Feng Shui episode. Mezza Live is based on my blog, mezzareviews.com. So you can find me on the web at www.mezzareviews.com, and you can follow me. Definitely follow me on the blog. For the past 4 years, I've cultivated this into a lifestyle blog. Based on the last 20 years being in the women's apparel industry. And I used to work with some amazing brands, but about 4 years ago, I decided it was time to step back and off the floor and maybe take the fashion, maybe, in print. So I decided to form this blog, and it not only has fashion, dining, travel, shopping, and of course, a lifestyle section. Today, we are so excited to have Miss Joanne Morin of Morin Design. She is not just a designer or decorator. She is a Feng Shui expert in all areas of architecture and design. So in a few minutes, we're going to bring Joanne on and have this very interesting conversation about what that all means. By the way, I just wanted to also mention that Joanne also is one of our contributors to the Mezza. The Mezza is now run by 10 other women, as well as myself. I edit it. And I just couldn't do it without them. I mean, they're amazing, and they take time out of their busy businesses and life to actually contribute with us. So please either tune into us today, or you can read us on the web as well. So since we're talking about design today, I hope you like my backdrop, by the way. It's our little living room. We're going to talk about the top 2020 decorating trends that's out there right now. So I know you're going to see some pictures. So the big one, so first we're going to put some of the 3 pictures out there in the front. We've got white kitchens. If you have a white kitchen, they're great, but guess what? Painted kitchens are really great. The painted cabinets are big right now. And blue is huge. So blue is the one of the big colors for spring and summer. You can also add some vintage accents. That's actually a really fun thing to do as well. Another trend is, again, the Pantone color of the year is blue, but navy blue, even being a big predominant shade of blue for the season. Floral wallpaper, I think that's a great idea in powder rooms. So florals are in on wallpaper. Collect art. I wanted to mention a little bit about that because a lot of us tend to maybe buy that picture at Home Goods, that's maybe a poster. I used to do that a lot, but recently, about 4 years ago, I got into actually buying real art. And the best place to do that, I think, is down in Charleston. So we go every year to the Wildlife Expo, the Southeastern Wildlife Expo, and we meet all these amazing artists. And I did meet a wonderful artist this year called Sue Key, and she's just a lovely lady. And you just get to know their personalities. So actually collecting art, getting to know the artist it becomes a really fun hobby that you can do with your spouse or significant other. So that's a really big trend, collecting art. Wicker furniture. If you had some of that wicker furniture and you were like, oh my God, I don't need that anymore, bring it out. It's really popular again. Freestanding tubs in your bathroom and some cozy fabrics. So those are some of the trends that you'll probably see this season. Before we bring on our guest, Joanne Morin, let me welcome all my friends, viewers, and followers on WDJY 99.1 FM and WTTA 101.2 FM in Kentucky and Ohio. You can now watch and listen to all exclusive and uncensored content 24/7 at uimediaapp.com. If you have any questions or would like to say hello to myself or Joanne today, please call us with a question at 678-495-4345. Connect with us online. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spreaker, and other podcasting platforms as UI Media Network. Make sure also to tune in on Monday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time as host Monica Bay is going to interview spiritual advisor Brittany Lee on the Mystic Monday show. So, guys, tune in. We have some great shows here on UI Media. I'd also now like to, before we bring on Joanne, I want to read her bio. She's actually so accomplished, and I think it's really worth reading some of what she's done. Founder Joanne Morin, Morin Designs. She designs spaces to optimize form and function and flow using a unique, holistic, and sustainable approach. Her dedication to lifestyle and culture positions people to realize their ideal living or working spaces. She brings over 20 years of commercial and residential interior architecture experience to them. She holds a BA in environmental design, is accredited in advanced Feng Shui for architecture, interior design, and landscape, and is a certified lead professional. And she's going to tell you what that means. The Feng Shui and lead certifications established Joanne Morin as an elite expert in the field of comprehensive biophilic interior design. Joanne applies her experience and expertise to define and impact the human experience in its surroundings. She fully invests in learning the personality and priorities of the people who inhabit a work or home space. She actually came into my home and did an analysis for me, and we're going to go over that in a few minutes as well, and loves to resolve spatial challenges to create environments that will contribute to her clients' sense of peace and functionality beyond their imagination. So I just am so excited and thrilled that Joanne is here with us today. So welcome, Joanne.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know you're always traveling and you're running all over the place. And it was so fun to actually have you do my analysis as well in my home. So we're going to go over that in a few minutes. But first, Joanne, tell our audience, you specialize in interior architecture, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that means?
Well, interior architecture basically focuses on mainly space planning, interior space planning, and interior design. What it means is that we go from specifying finishes, furniture, all the fixtures, but also there's a good portion of the task or the role involves custom components, millwork, cabinetry that needs to be designed. My specialty is mainly residential, corporate, and hospitality projects.
Okay. So, just before we get into the next question, so, when I got the feeling was that you come in, would you come in with somebody like with a realtor when somebody's looking for a house, say, and they really want it to be really in harmony for them? Would it be the best time for you to go along with the realtor and that, and the couple, to look for their home? Would you ever do that? I just wanted to add that.
Absolutely, it's actually the best time to do that.
Because you're starting from the beginning.
Ideally, yes.
Right?
And I do have some friends right now. will ask me, can you just
Right.
come with me, look at a house?
Right.
Because I would just want to know if it's a
Right.
good, a good place
If it's
for
a
me
good
to,
fit, because-
invest or to buy
Yeah.
or rent. Yes,
Exactly. Because
absolutely.
she came into my place, is like too late, basically. From what you'll see, it was too late. All right.
But it's still a good house.
It's still a good place. But although, according to my husband, it's not actually. So, okay. So, in addition to your environmental design studies, you are also a lead and Feng Shui. See, I was saying it wrong.
Feng Shui.
Feng Shui certified, correct? So, can you just tell us about that too?
So basically, lead. I'll just explain the feng shui. So
Yeah.
the feng shui principles, along with sustainability, basically are aim at creating a more synergetic relationship between humans and nature. So both discipline I use when I do a design project. They're very, very similar in many ways because let's say, for example, addressing daylight or ventilation, it is important to, it makes sense to have as much as possible daylight in a day. So more and more lead, which I'll explain. Lead means leadership for energy in environmental design, and I'll explain a little bit later what it means in more detail. But so basically addressing daylight, addressing ventilation problems that a building can have, or even anything that will affect the well-being of the occupants in the space, whether it's a home or office.
So, what does Feng Shui mean then in general? Like just a real easy explanation.
Well, Feng Shui translate as wind and water. So what it means is that the energy travels with the wind, and it stalls, or it slows down when it meets the water. And what's interesting is that, and I'm sure a lot of people, we can feel without knowing what it was, but you go to the ocean and you can feel that the energy is stronger there and you feel better. And one funny thing is that, over the years, my husband would always tell me, let's go to the beach because I need to re-energize. I need to refill my batteries.
That's true.
He would always say that. So, but it is true that there's a lot more energy along a body of water, especially if the water is moving.
So in Atlanta, we are really in trouble.
Well, we have
no water.
We
really.
have
a little bit.
We
right?
have the rivers.
Okay,
so
we have the rivers.
That's good. So you can go for a hike and along the rivers.
But it's probably nice to live near a body of water, although it's hard to find it, except if you do the lakes or the rivers around here in Atlanta. So we need your help a lot here in Atlanta, I think. So, all right. So, and what does LEED stand for? What is that?
So LEED, as I mentioned earlier, it means, it stands for Leadership for Energy and Environmental Design. So basically the focus is, it rewards a sustainable approach to green building across, several metrics. And basically, for example, water conservation, energy efficiency, and as I mentioned earlier, it promotes increased daylight in space, natural ventilation, etc. So that's
very important today with being sustainable and everyone worrying about the environment. I think this is so important, especially for you to deal with corporations as well. I think that they would probably love having you.
Well, especially, corporations are more and more looking into becoming LEED certified because it increases productivity. The employees are happier to work in an environment that is LEED certified. So it's
That's
really,
nice.
really important. Yes.
Yeah, it totally goes with the trend of what's happening in the world today.
Yes.
So we're going to go and talk a lot now about the Feng Shui analysis. And the first one we're going to do is my house. So if you have that up there on the picture there, you're going to see like a diagram. But so Joanne came in and did her analysis with my home. Now, I don't have a private home. I live in a townhome. And so that means I share the space with two other people, in the building. So, it's kind of interesting, the numbers, I guess, that came out of it. And I tried to follow some of the things she said. But she's going to tell you a little bit first about it, and then I'll tell you what I did to help the situation, I guess.
So what you see, the picture you see, I mean, there's a lot of numbers. I mean, there's a compass. I mean, it's very technical. But what it tells me is that first you see again that grid filled with numbers, and that grid is applied over a building. So in the case of Jackie's townhome, basically you're looking at the left, the row on the left, and those are the numbers I'm looking at to evaluate and to do the analysis. And bottom line, what I told Jackie is that the numbers, the top square and the middle square are really really good numbers. There's just minor correction to be made. The bottom one where you see the number, I don't know if you see the numbers on the screen, but 5 and 2 are not
They're
so
horrible
good.
Numbers.
They're not so good. They're actually really bad. But there are ways to fix bringing in the elements that are missing.
Right. So the front was like, she said the house was good for money. Right, money and what was
very
the
good
other?
for money and less for health. But again, this is something we can fix. So yes,
in a
and
few
we'll
seconds, we're kind of be breaking for a little commercial, but we're going to go a little bit more until we get that little notification that we're going to break. But so money, but then the worst part about it was the back of the house said it was sick. I'm like, oh my God. So
and that's where you have your
that
office.
freaked me out actually, and that's where my office is. That's where I like to hang out and have my tea. So so we're in a few minutes, actually, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that. So a little bit more about what we did to correct all that. So are we ready for our commercial? Yeah. Okay, good.
This is Kurt Arsenault of Arsenault Advisory Group. You just got married, but you may not realize that your money did as well. Is your spouse a spender or a saver? Will you purchase or rent a home? Finances aren't always fun to talk about, but getting on the same page with your partner and having real conversations about your goals will pave the way for a secure future. If you have recently tied the knot, visit arsenaultadvisory.com to download our free ebook titled 7 Smart Money Marriage Tips. Visit arsenaultadvisory.com to get your free ebook today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Mezza Live. I'm here with Joanne Morin, and we are talking about Feng Shui. So, all right, so we're on my analysis of my house, and like we said, the back of the house was not as fabulous as the front of the house. So, and there were things I should have done. You said to move certain things, and I did. I moved my office around. I put some copper in the areas you said to add some elements of metal.
Metal, yes.
So I put copper in where my tea area is, and but I couldn't change the position of my bed. My husband was not on board with that. So it's really funny, and you're going to get into that. Are you going to get into that a little bit about the?
Yes, I'll get into that later.
So
yes.
I'll talk about that, about how I now sleep in my bed. So if you're interested. So anyway, I think that was interesting though that. And also get rid of all your fake plants. Do not have fake anything in your house.
No,
and
it needs to be all natural.
All natural. So I went ahead and bought some plants, and it does make sense because it just feels fresher and nice. And
it's alive.
Yes,
I mean, it's supposed to be.
Alive.
Yes, it's more yang.
And what else did you tell me to do? I forgot.
Well, clutter. But basically,
Clutter, yes.
As a general rule, we need to get rid of anything that we're not using. It's all about If you don't, something is not
throw it out,
necessary, then there's no point in being in a room. It's about also form and function. You don't use it, you don't need it.
Right.
And so Feng Shui is a lot about that. And so
the other, you did another analysis for somebody else, and maybe did you want to mention a little bit about that?
Yes.
About this is what she does when she comes into your house, basically. And
well, the other picture that you will see up is what was interesting is it's a home located in New Jersey, and what was fun about it and sort of challenging is that the house had been through Sandy Storm. And the owners wanted to keep the original house, but renovate it. It was over 100 years old, but add in addition to the house. So obviously, the way it works is that the energy is calculated based on the year of construction. So I had to create two different trigram, what we call trigram, for this project. What was fun and really exciting for the owners is that both trigrams, the information that I gathered, gave me the information that basically the two the two buildings were what we call Wang Sha, Wang Shui, which means that it's great for money and great for health. So that was really lucky them. Exactly. Couldn't ask for a better analysis.
That's great.
But it was fun. And I had to, as part of the project, replan both spaces, the existing and the new. So I obviously had the chance to do that prior to, as they were building. Mm-hmm. So we definitely planned all the spaces according to what would work best for the owners, for the occupants. So that was a great project.
Really interesting to do that. So can you give us some tips and ideas to improve our environment? I think that's really important. Yes.
So yes, basically daylight in your space. So the way it works is that whenever you buy a house or you look at a house or you're looking into an apartment, or try to pick a location that basically sunlight. That has sunlight. That's in the same like the orientation. That's the word I'm trying to say. The oriented towards. Having daylight when for the rooms that you're using, obviously during the day. Mm-hmm. So workroom, living rooms, dining rooms, and so obviously for us, being in Atlanta or even the whole North America, we want to have we want to be oriented towards east. Southeast and south directions, all those rooms that are basically the living rooms, the working rooms. Mm-hmm. And so always be looking for that, because in the end, like the bedrooms, bathrooms can be on the north side, the northwest. You don't need the lighting there. You're sleeping. So it is really important that, it is yin energy. So there's no point, there's no need for lighting there. Right. So always try to look for that.
I see adding power to your life. So is that from the light, or no? That's something different, right?
No, power is basically it is part of the Feng Shui
principles. Oh, this is the bed. Okay.
This is the bed thing.
Okay,
yes.
Hold on. So she told me to change my bed in the direction I was facing. So for me, my husband, because there's two different readings. You have the two people, and you're going to explain that in 1 second, but. I was told I have to go one way, and my husband is better if he sleeps another direction. So now he's sleeping one way, and I'm sleeping the other way. If you're all interested, that's what goes on in my house. Okay, so now...
No, I do the same thing.
According to Joanne told me she does the same thing. Not much happening in our houses. Okay, so can you explain? I have a little chart here.
So...
can you explain, like, I'm the pig... Right?
You are the pig. I think your husband is the monkey.
And he's the monkey. Basically, already not such a good match.
You want to position as much as you can. What does that mean,
this whole chart? What does this chart mean, actually? I don't know.
The chart means that the dates that you see are basically Chinese horoscope. And so what it means, right. Exactly. So it's your date of birth, your year of birth.
Right, your year of birth.
And so what it means is that based on the Chinese horoscope, there's an orientation that's favorable for you. And so you can refer to actually the post that I just
it's in Mezza, MezzaReviews.com. It's all in there if you're missing today.
Exactly. To find that information and basically try to
tell you what you are.
Yes, and always face your favorable position, whether you're reading in your favorite lounge chairs or you're sleeping in your obviously in your bed.
And I did try it. I tried it one night. I did try it, and I actually did fall asleep better. I think. I don't know. It might work. It probably does work. So adding movement to your environment. What should we do with that?
So movement, and that's more of I think it's a little bit more known as a Feng Shui principle. Is that you want to have you don't want to have a space that's too with straight walls or long narrow corridors. Yeah. You want to have curves in a room or in a landscape. Okay. And so you basically, for example, in a room, you want to create indents in the walls or movement with the furniture, and you'll see pictures showing examples of, let's say,
So it's bad to have the long corridor with the right.
yes,
Not so
and
good.
well, you want to create
Right.
like one of the pictures I'm showing is basically what I created is a bookcase within a wall, just to create a little bit of movement in that room. And then there's another picture where you're seeing a long corridor where I added light fixtures, and so those are ways to in design to create movement in a space. So easily
That's good.
done, and so it just feels better than just the straight walls or straight
Right.
spaces.
That's good.
Yes,
I know I
and,
have straight walls in my townhome, but
and then landscaping is
yes,
the same.
and landscaping
Curved
too.
sidewalks and everything. Yes.
That sounds really good too to do that as outside. So if we wanted to just do some takeaways with our audience today, what would you like them to remember from the show? What would be the biggest thing takeaway, I guess?
Well, takeaway.
And also
I mean,
how we can get in touch with you.
so bottom line, I mean, we spend so much time indoors, whether we work or we live. It is really important to address, how we create our space, how we, live in our space, and Feng Shui is a great way of, taking care of a lot of issues that can reduce, or bring stress.
Stress,
be
right?
a stress.
We have
So-
such a stressful environment out there, right? Turn on
Yes.
the news and you'll know
So-
what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So you want to turn a space, a home or office space, into a very, more productive space. Maximize health and happiness
Right.
for the inhabitants. So
That's
again,
really good.
like we talked earlier, the ideal scenario is to try to have someone who can do an analysis for you
Right.
prior to buying a property.
I should have called you. I didn't know you then. But anyway, my husband would have been so happy because he didn't want to buy that place. He knew.
He knew.
I was the
He
one that
could
wanted
feel
it,
it.
and he didn't want to buy it. You know what? We should have called you
could
probably,
sense
and
it.
you would have made the decision.
But
Probably.
maybe next one.
Yeah, and the next one. So, okay, how can we reach you? What would I think is her website up there? I guess. Do we have a little? Okay, so we do have the website, and you can mention the website, your Facebook, or whatever. How else they can reach
Yes, so my phone number is 732-859-3522. And then there's on the website as well, there's sort of a link, info at joannemorindesign.com. So it's info at JOHANNEMORIN design.com. So.
you. Right. Okay. So we do have a few more minutes. Is there anything else you want to say? Any closing remarks on that? And then I wanted to mention, by the way, in the middle, and then I'll let Joanne finish off what she wants to say. But besides the big color, we're wearing red and blue today. So that happens to be, by the way, in my fashion tip that I always like to end with is that that red and blue are going to be very big this season, along with some pink. So such designers as Valentino, Cabby, Burberry, and Gucci are all on board, or should I say all ashore, really, for this kind of Americana, kind of a color spectrum that's going on this summer. So lots of navy blue, pops of red this spring and summer. So again, is there anything else you want to say in the closing that maybe we haven't covered? Or
I mean,
about the decorating. I'm sorry, I
That's
know
okay.
I popped right in. Do you also decorate, right? I mean, you also can come in and order fabrics and things like that, or can you do that, or is it just this that you do?
Well, typically I'll
Yeah.
go in a project, and yes, I can do from space planning to
Right.
interior design to selecting furniture and fabric and
Right,
so
that
on
would
and so
go
forth.
with the Feng Shui floor plan.
Exactly.
Right.
So I mean,
Right,
my main sort of expertise and what I'd like
Yeah.
to focus on is mainly doing the design and the space planning using the Feng Shui and the lead. And like my passion for this work is definitely derived from the reward of helping people alleviate
Right.
stress,
Right.
increase performance and life enjoyment. So minimizing stagnation. So I really definitely like decorating. For me, sometimes it's actually decorating is adding things that we don't need. So
Right.
it goes
That's
back
true.
to
That's true.
not really
Less
being
is
very
more.
yeah, exactly.
Less
so
is more. Yeah. So with the right kind of decorating and the Feng Shui, you can have a very harmonious home. And I hear that a lot. So I think that's great. Again, thank you so much, Joanne, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I hope you guys are gonna, contact Joanne, and we'll see you next time on Mezza Live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today. It's true what they say. Time sure flies when you're having fun. Please do like, comment, share, and support the show. Go to uimediaapp.com to watch all the Mezza Live shows. Follow UI Media Network online on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and almost all your favorite podcasting platforms to stay updated with our uncensored content. Want to be featured on our show or even sponsor it? Write to us at contact@uimedianetwork.org. We hope you had a wonderful time and that these tips will help you reinvent yourself in the best years of your life. Take care, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Same time, same place. The Mezza Live, only on the UI Media Network. The UI Media Network and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.